Good morning, I am Messi Boko and this is the news brief. Another batch of 301 Nigerians stranded in Ukraine arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja on Saturday. The evacuees were said to have arrived in Budapest, Hungary at 8:50 p.m. via Asma Air. Returnees will get $100 transport fare from the federal government of Nigeria, free SIM cards loaded with 5,000 naira airtime to allow them reach their family members. The NEDICOM had earlier on Saturday announced that 300 evacuees would be arriving the country at about 5:30, but the returnees eventually arrived by 8:50. Reasons for the delay were not stated by the Commission. Many Nigerians and other nationals have fled Ukraine into nearby countries since Russia launched a full-scale war on its neighbor on February 24th. The Nigerian government approved the release of $8.5 million for immediate evacuation of at least 5,000 Nigerians fleeing the Russian-Ukrainian conflict zone to Poland, Romania, Hungary, and Slovakia. President Muhammadu Buhari has broken his silence over the crisis rocking the APC. In a statement by his senior special assistant to media, Garba Shehu, the president warned the leaders and membership of the APC to desist from name-calling and backstabbing. He reiterated the party's national convention would hold 26th of March. The president urged APC members to remain steadfast and maintain unity if the party is to continue in the path of victory and its dominance at all levels to resign before pursuing the ambition. He also faulted the request by President Muhammadu Buhari for the National Assembly to scrap Section 84, subsection 12 of the Constitution, recently signed Electoral Act. The clause bars government appointees from engaging in party convention and Congress to elect new leaders or candidates without resigning. As the 2023 elections draw near, there are plans and conversations concerning candidate parties and strategies. In a discussion session with a professor of political economy and the author of the book Why Not, Professor Pat Utome, the need for young people to become more rational than emotional was emphasized. He is of the opinion that the forming an alliance of dedicated and determined youths would kick the bad eggs out.
Politically, they're spending far too much time on Twitter abusing each other rather than acting rationally together. That's the point I was trying to make. That in our time, we didn't quarrel that much based on those kinds of things. Now, by the way, I was not part, well, I shouldn't say I wasn't part. The third force thing, because I ran under APC in 2019, I ran for office. So I could not have been in the third force, but I encouraged it. The people who were organizing it came to me, and I gave them money, what little I had, because I thought it was important to do. But I was a member of the APC. I was, in fact, a candidate. I was running for office under that banner. What happened in 2019 with the group, first and foremost, was there was too much ego tripping on the part of many of the people who came up. That's okay, that's human. But also, the APC and PDP, their machine was still much better oiled back then. We don't have any excuse if we don't chase these guys out next year, because their machines have cracked, engines have knocked, and we need to organize, and we are organizing. I don't like to call it third force. I like to call it the alternative platform, because I think that APC, PDP are one party. The alternative people's-based party. And, if you will, a construction of a coalition of women. And we saw what happened last week in the National Assembly. This class has contempt for women. They have contempt for young people. They have contempt for intellectuals. Just construct an alliance of these groups with labor, which is what we're doing right now. Get these guys out. Very easy, I think.
State House of Assembly is working on a bill that would mandate all job seekers, applicants for political appointees, and students seeking admission into any tertiary institution of learning to undergo a mandatory drug test, which was sponsored by former Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Kabiru Majinyawa, seeks to control the adverse effect of drugs and other illicit substance abuse on society, and also for legislative backing to strengthen the fight against drug abuse. Now the report.
Adamawa is one of the states in the northeast that is confronted with drug abuse cases by its teeming youths, and the State House of Assembly is working round the clock to checkmate such cases. Speaking at the opening of the public hearing on the draft legislation, the Deputy Speaker of the State Assembly, Makondo Pamwankeno, said the bill passed into law will make it mandatory for drug tests to be conducted for all job seekers, applicants for political appointment, and students seeking admission into any tertiary institutions of learning in Adamawa State.
The problem is not only limited to our schools. What is happening in our government institution is better imagined than real. Drugs and illicit substance abuse has become a fashion amongst public and civil servants. The bill is therefore a deliberate effort by the sponsor and the honorable members to curtail the trend by nipping the problem in bud through legislation.
At this gathering are persons and agents of the state in the front lines of the anti-drug campaign to consider the piece of legislature, who are of the view that if the bill is passed,
napping, roaming about, school dropout and all that, it will reduce for our own understanding.
The control of drugs is paramount. It's very important because there is a saying that youth are the leaders tomorrow. But with this development of drug abuse, the chances of them to be leaders tomorrow is blinking.
The Katsina State Command of the Nigerian Police has repelled an attack by suspected terrorists, neutralizing 4 of them and recovering 132. A credible intelligence was received that terrorists in their numbers were on motorbikes, shootings periodically with AK-47 rifles. They attacked Yanmama village and Mulufashi local government area. The suspected bandits rustled 7 cows and were on their way into the forest. Then DPO Kankara was quickly alerted to block their exit route into the Ruga forest. The Federal Competition Consumer Protection Commission, in collaboration with the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, National Information Technology Development Agency, and the Nigerian Police Force raided some illegal financial institutions operating on Okbebi Road, Ikeja, Lagos. Among the financial institutions affected were Go Cash, Okash, Easy Credit, Cash, Speedy Choice, Easy Money, as the FCCP said was in response to customers' complaint of malpractices by the financial institutions. Speaking during the raid, the Chief Executive Officer of the FCCPC, Babatunde Irukara, explained that customers had accused the financial institutions of violating their privacy in their debt recovery drive. Poor nutrition costs Nigeria over $1.5 billion in GDP every year, threatening the health of citizens and economic potential of the nation. Fortifying staple foods with key vitamins and mineral resource is one of the most scrappable, sustainable, and most effective tools to combat malnutrition in Nigeria and worldwide. An annual Nigerian food processor and
annual Nigerian Food Processing and Leadership Forum, data showing significant progress in the fortification of staple foods in Nigeria was presented. During the last 4 years, the forum has experienced increased engagement by the federal government and CEOs of Nigeria's largest food processing companies, resulting in years of steady progress. The data presented at the forum, which was chaired by Aliko Dangote, demonstrated sustained fortification compliance for some key micronutrients and a decline for others, largely due to supply chain issues caused by the pandemic of COVID-19. Also, the issue of the Russia-Ukraine crisis came to the fore with a specific mention of wheat production.
It's not a false claim, and I'm sure that NAFDAC has also been working on this because we've got several visits from NAFDAC on this issue. So it's not a wasted question, and we are on top of it. We are also working on not just the saturated fats, we're also working on use of multi-purpose tankers and trailers in conveying vegetable oil. And we are working with NAFDAC on that.
As of today, prices of wheat have gone up. Now, there's a lag in the system that comes because of inventory controls and inventory management, but it is something that we need to be sitting down with government today to discuss about what measures can we put in place to alleviate what is coming down the road.
Russia and Ukraine, they do almost about 13% of the world's urea and then 26% of the world's potash. And then phosphate also, they are one of the largest in the world. So, and that though has actually, gone up. There will be scarcity of food generally, because people will not be able to access fertilizers going forward. And we will not see the effect now, but in the next 2-3 months, this thing is going to show.
Fortifying staple foods has been proven to be one of the most cost-effective and scalable tools to combat malnutrition and save lives.
There's need for regular eye testing in order to dictate and treat glaucoma before it enters the danger zone. There were words from experts as the World Mag's Glaucoma. PlusTvAfrica News Health correspondent Ngozi Kao-Hasiechi has more in this report.
Each year, the World Glaucoma Week adopts a common theme to observe the initiative. This year's theme is "The World is Bright, Save Your Sight." This brings to fore the need for citizens to take responsibility and good care of their eye to prevent vision impairment and irreversible blindness caused by glaucoma and other blinding eye conditions. This initiative puts a spotlight on glaucoma as a leading cause of preventable irreversible blindness worldwide. However, so many people are unaware they have the disease or may not have access to much-needed care. This is Bethesda Home for the Blind. Some visually impaired students tell us the story of how the silent thief stole their sight away. Meet Nathaniel Ndukwe, a 200-level visually impaired student of the University of Lagos, who wasn't born blind.
We started, let's say, about 10 years ago, when I was working with Julius Berger Nigeria PLC as a subcontractor. So that is when I started noticing the slight change on my sight. So just like that, I started going from one eye clinic to another. That's when they now confirmed it to be glaucoma.
Christopher Essien had similar experience than Nathaniel. He used to believe that blindness affects older people until he was caught up with the blindness in his early 20s.
I used to pay people to take me out. As I told you before, before you take me out, people demand money from me. They will ask me for money. I'll pay you. But sometimes if I don't have that money to pay them, that's why I feel that embarrassment and everything. So now challenge on the road and everything.
Their eye condition isn't stopping them from improving and working towards achieving greater visions.
I passed through the craft class, so I learned how to make bead and otherwise. So that before I now moved to the jam class, where I sat for jam. So there have been a lot of improvement. Who would ever believe that a blind person can still go to school?
You can bring any computer to me now, I will operate it the way you operate computer. There's no phone. I can tell you that even myself now, I can challenge you now. Let's make it a phone. There's nothing you can do on phone I cannot do.
With over 15 years of experience as an optometrist and an eye wellness promoter, Rose Azike speaks on how to reduce the risk of developing glaucoma.
Now, number one is a family history of glaucoma. If your mother, your father, or someone in your family has glaucoma, there is a likely chance your risk of getting it is high because it's hereditary. That's number one. Then two is age. Starting from age 40, people that are age 40 and above are at an increased risk of getting glaucoma. Then other things are eye injury, ocular trauma.
She wants the government at all levels and private organizations to create an awareness about glaucoma while advising regular checks of the eye. Ngozika or HSC, Plus TV News.
Coming up next on our Street Views, Nigerians express concern over maintenance culture of Nigeria government on infrastructure. Take a listen.
Actually, I'm not satisfied with the way we handle government properties and equipments in the country. Take, for instance, if you look at our roads, when the roads are constructed, they are always good. We will celebrate, but in the next 2-3 years, come and look at the road again, everything it will be something else. There will be potholes, there will be this, and there will be all over the road. Even the street lights will no longer, you see the bulbs are not working again. And that is because we lack this maintenance culture in Nigeria.
They leave these things to totally decay just in order to allocate unnecessary cash to do them, such that they can siphon this cash at the end of the day. Now, so when they are supposed to maintain this thing, when the decay is very little, they don't do it. Do you get? So once something that's supposed to fix with very little cash, when they start seeing the decay, they don't do it. They allow it to totally collapse, so that they can allocate money such that it can benefit their pocket. That's what they do. So maintenance culture is basically zero. We pray that we don't suffer dearly for our negligence.
Government facilities are poorly managed, are poorly maintained because there are no checks and balances, and also because of the bureaucracy nature of governance. For you to even just get somebody to come and clean the place, you need to get an approval from one director from Abuja. One director needs to send approval to one, So the bureaucracy process is really one of the factors that is also affecting the maintenance culture of government facilities.
And now to other parts of Africa. South African President Ramaphosa and his Mozambican President Filipe Nyusi have met and held talks in Pretoria to discuss regional security, including the insurgency in Mozambique's Cabo Delgado province, as well as Cyclone Gombe, which is battering the north of the country. The meeting was part of the SA Mozambique's Bi-National Commission talks, as they also agreed on a 6-monthly review of the implementation of a raft of agreement. The two leaders discussed ways of strengthening political, economic and investment relations, as well as implementation of the over 70 bilaterals agreement.
Crisis that confronts the government and the people of Mozambique in the Cabo Delgado area is not different. We will face it together as we are now through the SADC umbrella, with the same determination, certain that the forces of democracy and peace will be victorious.
We accept this support, but understand that you can't fight terrorism in an isolated form. This fact is borne out. The results are on the ground, even though sporadic attacks have persisted. The reduction in terrorist attacks confirms the old truth that united we are stronger.
Unidos somos mais fortes.
Amnesty International urged Egypt on Saturday to stop the shameful protest of prosecution of journalist Rashad Azab. The organization said he's been tried for supporting alleged sexual violence victims. Azab faces accusation of insult, defamation, and deliberate disturbing the plaintiff. That was after the tweeted support for 6 individuals who are anonymous. The journalist risks a 2-year jail term, a maximum fine of 50,000 Egyptian pounds, 302 pounds, or both. And outside Africa, Ukrainian and Russian negotiating teams had started discussing concrete topics rather than exchanging ultimatums. Speaking at the news conference in Kyiv, Zelensky said Ukrainian and Russian negotiating teams had started discussing concrete topics rather than exchanging ultimatums. He said he discussed the war with the Chancellor Olaf Scholz and President Emmanuel Macron, and Germany. French leaders then spoke to Putin by phone and urged Russian leaders to order an immediate ceasefire. Fresh attempts to evacuate civilians from cities under siege in Ukraine have been complicated by constant Russian shelling, Ukrainian officials say. Humanitarian corridors are being set up from Mariupol, Sumy, and towns and villages outside the capital, Kyiv. But Ukrainian officials accuse Russian forces of firing on a convoy of women and children from a nearby village, Kyiv, killing 7. The evacuation comes as fighting continues around Kyiv and other cities. Regional officials also said that fighting in the area was continuing and there was constant threat of air attacks. And to some business news, Nigeria's total pension fund asset had risen to record highest. It stood at 13.61 trillion naira as of January 2022, and that's 1.4% growth compared to 13.42 trillion naira recorded as previous month. This represents an increase of 183.8 billion naira in the review month. This is contained in the unaudited report on the pension funds industry portfolio for the month of January 2022. And to some entertainment news, Katy Perry will no longer have to pay $2.8 million, £2.1 million to a rapper who said she stole her song on the hit Dark Horse. Marcus Gray sued Perry in 2014, saying she had plagiarized an 8-note riff from his track Joyful Noise. A jury agreed and awarded him a $2.8 million payout, but a judge later overturned that verdict, saying that the melody was not particularly unique or rare, upholding that the decision. An appeal court said the regional verdict could have sophisticated the musical creativity. In a 3-0 verdict, the court said Gray had been attempting to claim an improper monopoly over conventional musical building blocks when he first sued Perry in 2014. And in the amazing world of sport, the Premier League has disqualified Chelsea owner Roman Abramovich as the director of the club after the oligarchy was sanctioned by the United Kingdom government. Abramovich had his British assets, including Chelsea, frozen on Thursday as part of government's response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The move puts Russian prospect sale of the club on hold. The Premier League said Abramovich's disqualification would not impact on the club's ability to train and play. And that's the news brief. For more stories, please follow us at PlusTvAfrica on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. I am Messi Boko. Many thanks for watching.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require a permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from
Do you know any female between the ages of 18 to 25 who is currently unemployed or an undergraduate who is passionate about technology? Africa Agility is empowering young females between the ages of 18 to 25 with tech skills ranging from
product management,
web development, artificial intelligence, data science, digital marketing, machine learning, blockchain technology, agile, networking, and cybersecurity through partnership with Cisco. Here is your chance to learn these tech skills for free. We offer a variety of instructor-led and self-paced programs, both physical and virtual. To be a part of our programs, join our community using the details on your screen. Africa Agility is slowly reducing the poverty rate in Africa, one girl at a time. To sponsor a female or to donate to this course, visit donate.africaagility.org. Thank you.
Life can be fun and rewarding, but it also comes with some risk. As in business, you win some, you lose some. And that's why you need to be wise in the choices you make. It's like placing a bet. Again, you need to be wise. Wise in choosing an innovative platform with the highest market options and highest odds ever. That's why Winners Golden Bet, the leader in online, in-shop, virtual, and live sports betting, gives you enhanced platforms that offer you the best chances of winning. For betting on live soccer matches, live dog races, and virtual games. Winners Golden Bet is your best bet. Instant payment of winnings guaranteed. Play online or in any of our numerous shops nearest to you.
Hey guys, be wise. Play on Winners Golden Bet.
Winners Golden Bet, the wise choice.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on PlusTvAfrica as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Booking November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on PlusTvAfrica.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
So the week has been beautiful. The week can't be said to be that of mixed feelings. Last week we had our faces, not too happy. Today we're a lot happier because a lot has happened to us as individuals, the family, our country, and indeed the world. Just as discussions continued on the Russia-Ukraine war and its implication for the superpowers NATO and the rest of the world, so did we heave a sigh of relief at the disappearance of the long queues at the petrol filling stations across Nigeria, John.
Yes, indeed, Helen. Well, the world seems, to be on a fast-forward mode, and with so much happening. What else? The questions which really come to mind would include, are we making real progress? Are things changing for the better? And is the family impacted positively? Rhetorical questions, you may say, because the questions are there. for all of us to see.
Yeah, the answers
The
are
answers, rather.
Yeah.
The answers are there
yes.
for all of us. Very obvious,
Well,
what's going on.
John, the news from across the nation get more and more scary, but we must keep a straight face and a happy face, especially the love for money and affluence as against value and compassion for fellow human beings. Despite the negatives, the world is celebrating women all through the month of March, and we are so grateful to be amongst the living and a part of
I
this
thought it was
celebration.
going to be one day. So.
It's not one day. March is the history month for women.
Okay, so we'll give you the whole year now.
Give us
As
now. We'll
women.
take. We'll take.
So, well, the women are special, actually. They're a special breed.
Yeah.
And as an important part of the family, they deserve to be celebrated every minute. So to all the women out there, we salute you. And hello, everyone, and welcome to the conversation that is centered on the family. I am John Sen.
Very quick break because we have a really interesting and loaded package for you today. Don't forget, we're celebrating women in a very special way.
So why did you look my way when you went on my...
Okay.
So,
okay,
when we
please
come back,
don't go away.
When we come
we'll
back,
be back shortly.
We will unveil what will be coming up next.
True.
So what are the top decisions that the United States considers necessary that Nigeria must take? I like to think of my interactions as conversations, not interviews. And that's why I say asking questions is both an art and a science. Everyone says in Islam you are allowed to have 4 wives. Is it mandatory? The right question enables answers that educate, inform, clarify, and help you, the viewer, to better understand the issue before making up your mind.
Our goal is to reduce from 10 to 2 days the time it takes to register businesses in Nigeria.
Join me every week on this station, PlusTvAfrica, and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajetumobi.
Yeah, thanks for staying with us. Well, before we go on, Helen, I have a little confession. I'm trying to recover.
I'm scared. You're making me.
Yeah, I'm trying to recover from that heavy rainfall overnight.
Oh,
I enjoyed it so much.
Yes, I did too.
Be related to the woman and the mother? If yes, how does it affect relationships, the family, and society?
Well, I'm so anxious to get some answers, so we shall, in a flash, run through the high points of the week and get down to the business of the day.
High points of the week. No more fuel queues.
No more fuel queues.
Did you notice that?
Yes, but...
I was shocked.
It just disappeared, like it came.
I was prepared to queue for hours.
No.
And I got there. What's going on? Is there something wrong? And I got it in minutes. So that's a good development, actually.
What he said to me is like, when we want to do something, we get it done.
We get it done.
As a people.
Yes. So that's Nigeria.
And that was my prayer last week.
Yes.
That by the time we're back here, the fuel queues will be gone. And so, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Nigerians, thank you for all the wahala,
And then the story of the girl that was killed on the bus. Well, we are following that closely. It's really sad. And quite honestly.
And some of the information that came from that, from the governor of Lagos State and the Transport Ministry of Lagos State, that whenever the BRT doesn't have the lights on, it means that business is closed for the day.
Okay.
And that never was an information that was out there in the public, at least not that I know of. And so you shouldn't board any BRT without the lights, going.
So, well, now we know what the general message is, that we should be, a little more conscious or, you know, of
and we took
what
it
is
for
going
granted
on.
that all of the buses had CCTV cameras.
Yeah.
And we found out that
A lot of things are
them
coming
don't
out,
have.
but well, let's look at it. Let's turn those negatives into positives, you know.
And let's pray this is not another one that is swept under the carpet, please.
We hope
please,
not, Helen.
Please.
We hope not.
Especially not in this month where
We
we're
hope
celebrating
not.
women.
All right. So joining the conversation, you know, our conversation today is a friend of the house. I'm smiling already. I'm not sure I'll be able to introduce him. He's an abstract thinker, a professional counselor, a chartered mediator, a spiritual therapist, and an entrepreneur.
He's Excel Adele Samuel. He's founder, Walmart Behavioral Science and Mental College. He is host, stress-free parental coaching class, and Sparkles single support for divorcees. We are delighted to tap from the practical experience of an expert in medical health issues, mental health issues, I beg your pardon, family matters, and a lot more. Excel Adele Samuel, welcome back home.
Welcome home indeed.
It's nice to be back home. Thank you for the opportunity.
Welcome, Excel. We haven't seen you this year.
Happy New Year once again.
I was going to ask, I hope you're not one of those who just returned from Ukraine.
Not at all. Not for now.
But it's okay.
Of all places, you're Ukraine.
It's good to see you. It's good to see you.
It's nice to see everyone.
Now, really, we can't wait to get our perspectives on the toxic mother, which is our topic for today. And first, of course, let us establish that you are indeed welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Once again. Now, let me ask you, have you ever been opportuned? I'm sure you have as a professional. You would have encountered or maybe addressed the issue of the toxic mother. You know, how little, tell us, how little can a toxic mother get?
I mean, it's quite deep. Let me say I celebrate women for this month. I will celebrate you. Thank you. Once again. You see, it sounds small, but it's a very big one. Because like I say, if you go home tonight, a woman can determine if you are happy or you are sad. Just for a call. We have noticed with the trend that children get more affection from women. Then if it's turned around, that is not affection, it becomes toxic, then what does the child be? What does your home be? What does the society be?
Yeah.
Now the question then is, do we have more toxic women in the society? Yes. As you can see on social media. Then the question then be now, if there's a toxic female, that means that there's going to be a toxic mother.
So we've heard of toxic wives.
Yes, they become toxic wives, toxic boss, and toxic and all that.
So a toxic woman is really lethal.
It's very lethal.
A toxic mother
will
be very, very lethal and impact directly
the society itself.
Not just the children.
Not just the children. Not just the husband.
Because we are tapping direct current
from them.
Wow.
Women carry the life of this earth.
My goodness.
Yeah, they carry the life of this earth.
That is strong.
Yeah, but that's a fact. So I'm asking, who really is a toxic woman or mother? Who? What are the attributes?
A toxic woman is a woman who is not happy with herself and extend your happiness to the world.
You extend that
unhappiness to the world.
To the world. Does she get that unhappiness from the world or from within?
You see, it's two different words. The school of psychology has said that behavior are learned, but I bet to differ in a bit. And I'll say this, for example, a child who is just 2 days old has a tendency to behave in some irrational way. Religiously also, we have seen some individuals who are just born as a different being as well. But largely, if we look at it, the reasoning, most of the toxicity we find is what we find around, largely. It's based on the society. For example, it's based on the construct of the societal construct of women, especially in culture, religiously. You get it now. And some are going through some level of trauma. For example, most women you find in the society has been abused by 1 or 2, 3 women. Sometimes, even their father is their first abuser by the way he treats their mother.
So by experience.
By experience, and sometimes even by what they see in the society, by what they watch on TV. So most of the people we call toxic people didn't just grow up to be toxic. Toxicity also was passed across. Then what I ask women most time or parents is that, how much of the toxicity are you passing to generation upon generation? Because the unhappy woman will raise an unhappy child that will be a depressed child.
Who in turn?
We also extend that to the society.
The toxic parents.
Wow, you see, I have a little challenge here. The word toxic. What each time I come across that word toxic and I place it against a mother or woman, you know,
it doesn't sit well.
Yeah, it doesn't sit well because toxic immediately conjures the feeling of there may be some spiritual demon. It fits. Isn't that what toxic and overkill?
You see, yes and no. The way you could just assess that is to check what is the result. For example, what is the result of the home? What is the result of the children? What result is she giving out? Then you can use that to balance that. And toxicity itself just means poison.
Yes.
But we all know sometimes that you have some stomach ache based on poison. That doesn't mean you will die. You get it now? Now, the challenge we have in the society is also use of word, which can cause some level of mental disadvantage to people in the way we use it.
Yes.
I can be toxic today. Does not mean when I walk out of that door, I'm not also sweet. Does not mean today, tomorrow, I can't be the best person as well.
So you can be toxic in certain environments.
Exactly.
And once you step out,
things could change.
Comfort zone sets in.
And all of that. For example, if somebody hits my car right now,
you become toxic immediately.
Instantly, man. As long as I take some level of emotional, intelligence or control to handle that particular time. So toxicity does not necessarily mean the person is a toxic human being. It could be based on challenge. Exactly. It could be based on challenge, based on situation. You get it now. For example, a woman who is living with an abusive husband will behave toxic because she's not happy. She will shout, she will nag. The children are not listening. That same woman will shout. At that point, the behavior does not look sweet. It looks toxic. When it becomes a bigger problem, if there's a consistency of that act, then you can say that person is a toxic human being.
Because a pattern has been
over time.
Yes.
Okay. All right, this is a family show. I always get to this point. And we are talking and celebrating women and mothers and the girl child, if I can use that word. Now, we've heard instances of a mother and a daughter having an extremely prolonged toxic relationship. How would a psychologist such as you explain that?
You see, in most of those cases, we don't come to a conclusion of saying one or two of them is toxic. And the woman beginning to feel that she's a stranger in her own home because the husband practically let everybody see that this is my favorite, not you.
Wow.
Over time, the woman, because she's a person and she's not getting what she has come to look for in that home, beginning to react with time, and the young girl just enjoys the love of father. In that case, it can bring. So we look at it deeper to say what is actually the issue. To use that to diagnose what is the problem and what can we deal with.
It may even be an experience longer, with maybe her father, the woman's
and incidentally,
father.
The girl child is more the daddy's child.
I mean, I don't want to say men are wired that way. Men just behave unconsciously like that most times. So it happens that way. So we have to look at different things. But sometimes, in some cases, some women came into that marriage with loads of issues.
Already toxic.
True.
and this issue was not dealt with before, then any trigger, because marriage comes with its own crisis, then boom, something blows.
Something triggers.
Something triggers. All of that.
Something
and some
triggers
even,
an existent trait.
And some are just raised to be toxic. Wow. For example, somebody that stays in where they shout, "Wawole, wawole," in that environment that is very toxic. She does not understand bedroom voice or calm voice.
Okay.
Everything she's shouting. When she's talking, she's cursing. But the curse is a joke. I'm sure you have seen people on the road, Christians say, well, we have fun now. And as you really greeting, that is their world.
Wow. Okay, you know what? Hold that thought there. We'll take a quick break and then we'll continue.
Okay.
Wow.
Interesting.
How can we have peace without justice?
Plus Politics. It's not just another political conversation, it's about keeping you in the know. The relevant interviews, asking the tough questions to those that matter. Get the answers you need. Does it mean that the people who were injured, people who were shot at, those who were involved in that stampede are not going to get justice?
It is unfortunate, it is sad that we have a government of deaf and dumb.
Plus Politics, every weeknight at 7 p.m. on Plus TV Africa.
Okay, so we say thank you for being there. It's Today with John and Helen on Plus TV Africa. And we are in the month of March, the special month set aside all over the world to celebrate mothers and the women. And someone is green with heavy hair. Oh, that one I'm a business guy.
Okay.
Okay, and last week, you know, not really what we're talking about. We're talking about the toxic woman or mother.
Toxic mother.
But last week, this is our month. National Assembly guys threw out a lot of the things that were, you know, entirely for women. And women have gone on rampage all over. Does that say anything about the character of the woman? We're talking toxicity. Demanding a right.
It depends on the society construct to understand what the woman cry is. For example, I don't totally subscribe when they say nagging woman. When a dog is barking, beyond we looking for them, asking for that right, there's something deeper that they're saying that we need to look for. I want to address. I think what we do in our society is that we neglect the cries of people. And that begins to show if we are really humans. Now, and I say this to both genders. Most times we neglect the construct of, or the biological being of a person. For example, in Ukraine, as we say, the government have said that the men should stay and fight the war. They categorize based on the physical strength at that time. And the women also should understand that men are nice enough to say women should go. But some women are actually staying. What they got?
Well, this argument, you see, this argument, this argument will never end.
So let's bring it back home.
Because that's moving us into another sphere.
Yes, let's bring it back home.
You know, we'll bring it back home.
And I would like to ask now, a mother who is critical of whatever her child does, critical of whatever her child does, would she claim, you know, that she's being a good mother? Is this mother really, really being a good mother by being critical of almost everything?
You see, it depends on what we are calling critical. For example, a perfectionist woman would like to get things done, like to meet her goal. She's very adventurous. She doesn't take no for an answer. Probably call her choleric. She'll be critical of everything. Being critical at that point is not her criticizing.
Okay. Positively
is her looking to get something done. It now becomes toxic if she's criticizing and condemning and she's not providing solutions. That's what we should look at.
Yes.
You get it now. So someone can come into the place and say, this stool is not well done. And somebody has been in this house walking past. And he will say, do you know what? Daddy does not complain. Is this woman every time when he comes to his house keep complaining? But mommy is just one who will see that things need to be corrected and done in the proper way. It now becomes a problem when mommy can't bear and sometimes help out or guide in how to do it. That is a bigger problem.
So we're looking at degrees now. we're looking at threshold levels.
Okay.
We're drawing lines.
Yes.
Like, there's a certain line that defines whether you're just being a good mommy or if you're beginning to get toxic.
That's it.
And of course, you've been able to pass a message across to me that this issue of being toxic it could come from anywhere. Yeah. There are so many triggers. It could even be spiritual.
That's it.
It could be hormonal.
True.
It could be from experience or whatever. Now, could you tell us, what are the telltale signs? Like when we see those signs, right? We should start to. This woman is getting toxic. She's not just being a mother.
Yeah. One of the signs is that the person becomes so moody.
So it's a mental thing too.
Oh, it could be very mental most times. Largely mental.
Psychological.
Largely mental.
Wow. Okay.
The person gets so moody.
Mm-hmm.
The person does not reason in the line of everyone. Mm-hmm. Sometimes even they are withdrawn. Sometimes they get even more religious.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
You get it now. They become more religious.
Okay.
And sometimes some just bring arguments that you find that is unnecessary. Okay. Sometimes some just keep repeating a particular incident, a particular matter over and over again. You get it now? Those are few signs to know that something is wrong somewhere. And most times, they get angry easily. You just get angry easily. They flip up easily. Okay. Know that. So those are signs that is saying that this person is toxic, or sometimes some will just go off from everybody for a while. You see a time when somebody will just switch off their phone or say miss call and doesn't want to pick it up. It's showing some level of instability in the behavior and how they see things.
Okay, so when a mother gets to this stage and can't be...
You see, the woman at home who make things work is like when there's a light. Once you switch off the light at home, we can't get directions. And when you can't get direction, it's more likely that you have accident in that particular place.
Everything will just
went off. And that is why I've seen most people in session cry for loss of mother than they cry for loss of father.
Loss as in death?
Death.
Okay.
And religious activities beginning to slow down in that activities.
Yeah.
If a man goes up and he wants a gist partner to come and gist with, but the woman is not there, or she knows that if I start this conversation, I can't sleep on this bed today. But this is just a normal conversation that we should have as partner.
Okay.
And that woman also beginning to extend it even to our own relations. You see a case whereby they will need to get to the spouse to get through it.
So can we look at solutions? Because we're like almost out of time. When this presents itself, John, is your question in that direction?
No, yeah, it's okay. Let's look at solutions, because I was going to say that, okay, for the woman who is toxic, how does she herself know that she's toxic?
You see, the simplest way to know that you are toxic is that you have less happiness in your life.
Okay.
Your affection level is reduced. There is an assessment or a blame to more people than to yourself. Everything gets to you, and people get to you easily.
Yeah.
There's something's wrong.
Then you should know that you
need to check up.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So when you get there, can you help yourself? Or must you
it's a two-way. If you have not gotten far and you have the ability, it's like someone who have a cut, but you have the ability to quickly stop the blood and use a first aid for yourself. But there's some case that you can't. You just need external help to help you because you are losing blood and someone needs to pick you up.
Yeah.
So at that point where you can do a critical assessment to see that, oh, I have a problem here. I need to check myself. Number one. But there's some case where everybody is saying it, but you are disagreeing. Then you need to seek a professional help.
Okay.
At that point, everybody is saying it, or sometimes you know that I think I have a problem, but I don't think it's working, and there's no solution. At that time, you need to seek.
Probably that's where the family support comes in, because if I don't accept, then I wouldn't present myself, to.
Yes, in most cases when people
someone else needs to direct.
Exactly. In most cases when people have gotten to the extreme, they even see the family helper as a problem.
Okay.
So at that point, they need to seek professional help.
My goodness.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I never thought this was this. Honestly, always don't have enough time.
I wish we had more time.
Quite a lot to take away there. Thank you once again.
Thank you for the opportunity.
For coming back home. And you know that you can come back any other time.
And what is available.
We have benefited tremendously from his experience today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So today with John and Helen, we'll continue. Of course, thanks to our dear friend Excel Adele. Thanks for coming. And like Helen said, I hope we're going to have you on the show again.
Definitely.
Very soon. So at this point, I think
let's move on to other
we should
things.
move to the gym. Yeah, let's move to the gym and do some fitness, put some fitness in our lives. Yeah,
and
the
Eric
expert is ready, and he will be leading us gently through.
Okay, so Eric, are you there? Take it away.
Okay, this morning, well, you're welcome to the fitness segment, all right? So we're going to be doing, as usual, simple exercises that you can do on the go, all right? Just things that are very simple because, the fitness industry there's been a paradigm shift. We'll move from the old days of, just regular aerobics to the time when we just move more, do things that will challenge you a little bit more, okay? Because the more you challenge yourself, the better you get, the better you become, the healthier you become. So this is what we're going to do. This is why we're doing this particular segment. And remember, I said it will be like 10 minutes, just something you can do on the go every day of the time. Then you go about your business. So today, we're going to be doing a simple exercise like punches. You stand in one spot, and then we'll punch for 20. Then we'll go with power knee. Bring it up for 20. When we do that, then we'll go down and do what we call inchworm. And that's like this. I'll demonstrate the exercise. You go down, just straight on, stay here, and come back up. Simple. You'll be shocked at a lot of force who don't go down and come up. How difficult it is. Now let's start this. Are we ready, guys? Okay, so let's go. It's easy. Bring your hand forward, tuck in your abs, and then we're going to punch for 20. Ready? 3, 2, 1, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When you punch, 7 to my hands. 8, 9, 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring that leg up. 6. Get your hands. Meet them in the middle. 8, 9, and 10. 10 more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Change leg. 1, 2, 3, watch. 4, you bring it up. 5, make sure that leg comes up. You see the hand, you travel. I'm knitting in the middle here. Thereby working your abs as well. Where we? Yeah. So we'll go down for the inchworm. It's just a simple movement. You go down this way. I want to turn so you can see me. Move forward. There, stay there, shoulder over wrist, and trace your hands back, and you stand. Simple, right? Let's try that. We're going for 10, okay? Tell me, let's do this, come on. I know some of us find it difficult to go down and get up. This is your chance to improve that. Ready? Let's go. Straight, there, That's one. You get up. Two. Three. 7 more to go. Now, some people like to add a push-up to this. Now, I want you to watch Patrick add a push-up to his own. All right. Yeah. Watch. What he's going to go into a push-up is for those whose fitness level has gone up. Okay. Now, if you don't, you can't do that. It's okay to just do this as well. All right. These guys are crazy. We'll do the simple one. I'll do the simple one so you guys will watch. What's the number, guys? How many do we have left? How many? 4 more. Okay, we have 4 more. So we're here. Let's do this. Making sure your legs are straight the whole time. That must be, that's more than 10. All right. Okay, so let's go for a second set of this. We're doing a second set, guys. Ready? Bring your hands again. Remember, I said you have to punch 20. When you punch, tighten those abs. Cause a contraction here and just go. All right, let's go. 1, 2. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going back to inchworm. We need to make 10. Are we ready? All right, again, let's go. Keep your hands. Unless you can't, then you fold your knee when you're going down, all right? But otherwise, keep it straight, like this, all right? See, I told you these guys are crazy. You don't need to do the push-up with it, okay? They're good at what they do, okay? So you can do the simple one. That's how many for? Okay, we have 6 more. You can do the simple one. Stay here, shoulder over wrist, and place your hand backward and stand up. See, done 2. We have 1 more set to go. 1 more set to go. Ready? 3, bring that hands up again. All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more. 10 punches to go. Come on. That's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Remember I said you bring your legs up. Then we're back to the challenging aspect of it. That's the inchworm. Are we ready? Okay, again. Remember, keep your knees straight. Go back. Those of you out there who are tougher, you can add yours. Okay, that's like 5. We have 5 more to go. Good. You see, when you do this, like I said, it's just 10 minutes. 10 minutes. You can do this before you go and get into the shower. And then after that, you go about the rest of your business for the day. So we've come to the end of today's workout. And I'm sure if you enjoyed this, even if you didn't, try and join the next one and enjoy it. So until I see you again, thank you very much.
Welcome to The Advocate, where tropical issues are discussed in a no-holds-barred manner.
To me, if they cannot pass the law to give female women same rights as men, why do we bother educating women in the first place?
Exactly.
Why do parents spend money sending them to school, university?
If you want to trust your business growth, ladies has been proven worthy to represent the business.
It's been proven time and time again that organizations that have been run by women or have more women on their boards or in the management team actually perform better.
That our leaders in government don't respect women or don't think highly of women. To me, that's 50% of the workforce who are going to be demoralized.
If somebody steals food, it's not an indication that the person is hungry.
Yeah.
And yet we glorify these same thieves that call themselves government.
Is International Women's Day a fad? I don't mean this in a negative way. I'm an advocate for fairness and equality for everyone, women in particular. However, I wonder why it seems like IWD has become a major international celebration over the last few years only. What happened before someone gave us an officially recognized day to fight for our rights, our being women? And how deep are the intentions behind our myriad of IWD campaigns? Is this maybe a case of putting a band-aid on an open wound that actually needs to be attacked at its root through medication, whilst fixing it permanently through surgery? Also, when we build our girls, what happens to our boys? Do both genders not need to live cohesively side by side? So for me, gender bias isn't just for the women, but the men too. Okay, so I digress. Let me introduce my guest. Ngove is the head coverage at Rand Merchant Bank, Nigeria. Prior to joining RMB, she was an executive principal with Standard Chartered Bank, Nigeria, responsible for anchoring the bank's international corporates portfolio. She holds a master's degree in international management from the University of Exeter and a bachelor's degree in the organization's role as the catalyst that elevates the status and influence of women and their contribution to nation building. She's deeply passionate about advocacy for gender parity and supporting women to achieve their full potential. Welcome, Ngove.
Thank you very much, Farah.
It truly, truly, truly is an honor to have you here today. I'm like super excited.
It's truly, truly, truly a pleasure to be on the show.
Thank you so much for coming. And we had such an interesting chat a few days ago.
We did.
Now we've got 25 minutes. Let's see if we can do it justice.
Okay.
And my very first question would be this. How do we advocate for women's rights? How did we advocate for women's rights before International Women's Day?
So it's interesting that you asked this question because this is, March 8th, 2022 was actually the 111th International Women's Day.
Wow.
So it's not actually a new
It's not
thing,
a new thing.
not at all. It started 111, in fact, I think a year before that, when women marched in the United States. And there are many of the things that we are still marching for today. So it's not when you think of the word fad, it typically means something that is done with a lot of energy and passion, but is often short-lived. The one thing that I hope I've taught you now and everybody else is that it's certainly not short-lived. It's been around for a very long time. Wow. However, there is some truth in sort of what you were alluding to earlier when you did the intro. The fact is, the day was designated as International Women's Day so many years ago. However, it wasn't celebrated on an international scale until sometime in the 1980s when the UN adopted it.
Okay.
And ever since then, we found that with each year that passes, there is a lot more that's done around it. Now we have themes for the day. We've got poses. This year's poses break the bias. So it does feel as if there is heightened awareness of it, but it's been going on for quite a long time.
And what has the progress from a track record point of view been since inception to date?
So it's undeniable that there's been progress. When we look internationally and also look closer to home, we see more women represented. Not as many as we would like to see, but we do see more women represented. We see a reduction in the policies and laws that are outrightly discriminatory. We see many women, particularly in Nigeria, we have great statistics around equal pay, where, you know, we're one of the equal countries in terms of contribution by men and women in the corporate setting is valued almost equally. So there has been some progress. However, there's still a long way to go. I mean, clearly starting the month with our wonderful gentleman, the House of Reps, on the 1st of March, declining to assent to the changes that were being asked for. And for me, it was particularly sad because this was coming after 2 previous attempts to pass a gender equality bill. So we had already tried that over the last 6 years. And they had been thrown out. And then so this was one way to at least address the glaring inequalities in our constitution. And again, it was thrown out. The other thing I like to say is that, Pharaoh, you and I are not representative of the women in Nigeria. We're a minority. And so when we look at ourselves, it's easy to say to ourselves, well, there's progress. I can walk in, I can get a job. You know, I went to school. I didn't feel any particular discrimination. But we still have a very, very high incidence of underage marriage. We still have a very high incidence of maternal mortality, which is tied into some of the discriminatory practices around women not having agency over their own bodies. We still have a number of girls pulled out of school in preference of men. We still have discriminatory inheritance laws and practices, customary practices. And so for me, you know, what I always say to people is the journey is long, but it's a marathon. We celebrate the progresses, and that's what International Women's Day actually stands for. It's about celebrating the progress, celebrating the women who have achieved and continue to achieve, but then also bringing that awareness around the work that still needs to be done, and then encouraging women and men, because it's not a gender war, to work together to achieve.
Yeah, so that actually answers part of my next question, which was, do women and men really understand what we are advocating for?
I don't think so. I don't think everybody understands it. But it's like life, right? Not everybody understands everything. And so part of the job and the reason why there is a day is because it brings awareness. And you know, when you look at the campaigns, the first thing that I hope it does for people is it reminds them, or at least it jogs somewhere in your memory, why is there a day? A day. And then that starts getting you thinking towards the fact that there's a reason for the day. And then it gets that awareness around the inequalities that are still persisting. And then it gets stories around the women that have achieved. And so hopefully, all that we see and hear around the day creates that awareness around the problem.
So in simplifying that, how would you, I'm a man, I don't quite understand what the advocacy really is for. How would you simplify it for me? Or I'm a woman who also doesn't quite understand it. How would you simplify it for me?
I use the analogy of a plane. You can't fly a plane with only one half of its engines running. And when you deny women full participation, that's what you're doing. You are basically not able to fly your plane properly. And when we look at the issues and the problems in our society, in our country, I personally feel that it is a big portion of it is attributable to the lack of women in certain role model positions for us. And so to a man, I say to men, you know, are you happy with what you see? Are you happy with the increased violence? Are you happy with the socioeconomic realities of today? I don't think anybody is.
But here's the thing, though. That question, for me, is an intelligent question that can potentially only be answered with a bit of thought. But what if the average man that you're asking that question says to you, yeah, there's no problem. My wife is at home. She's looking after the children. She's fine. You know, I don't understand what you women are talking about. Which is a lot of women in our African society. A lot of men, rather.
I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree. And the reason I do is because when you hear the stories of a number of young women, and even older women who have excelled, be it at school, at work, often the push came from their mom, but also from their dads. And the dads were not always educated. Quite a number of them were uneducated.
Very, very true.
But a lot of them had the inbuilt notion that they either had strong mothers or they understood the fact that they had seen their mothers either be denied agency or be granted agency and excel. And so for many men, I think at a base level, they understand that inherently women and men have a lot to contribute. So I don't believe it's a education or lack of education. I think they all understand it. I do think, however, that our cultural and religious norms heighten sort of the gender silos. And also the reality of many families is, I want my wife to go out and work. I would like the additional income, but we have kids. Who's going to take care of the kids? Who's going to take care of the home? How are we going to have food to eat when I get back? And I think that sometimes means that you subjugate the inner feelings that you have to support the cause, because selfishly, you need that person at home. You need to have that person working in the home. So when we do then advocate for equality, we have to look at the entirety of the situation, which is why we look at policies and laws. You're looking at paternity leave, maternity leave. You're looking at supporting women through childbirth. You want better education so that women can put their kids in school and know that I don't have to spend all my time managing the children. They will do well. They have a great environment. We want to make sure that there's better security. Because again, one of the reasons why many men, don't want their wives to get involved in sort of a 9-to-5 role is the hassle of getting to work in the morning, the coming back very late in the evening, the lack of transportation, the fact that women need to be given an opportunity to do and achieve what they can.
Is that opportunity equality?
I like to use, and I think you had also seen, there was some cartoon that sort of had, women and men, and then the equality was providing boxes. So they were trying to look over, I think it was a fence of some sort. So there was a fence, and then there were these people of differing heights. And then they just brought these boxes. And the boxes were all the same dimension, and they were equal, 10 inches. So he's just slightly above. She's 4'9". So she needs a much higher box to be able to look over. And then when you have adjusted for the differences and you have supported, then you can see all of them then now having an equal vista over the fence.
Is that
and that's
fair,
what equity is. Why isn't it fair?
I'm asking.
Why isn't it fair?
Is it fair?
Of course it is fair.
Because somebody can say, well, it's not fair because you've given the shorter person a taller box and you've given the taller person a shorter box.
Precisely, but at the end of the day, where have all of you landed? Okay. So it would be unequal if I gave the shorter person a box that allowed them to be higher than the taller person. But what we've done is to give them boxes of different dimension that allow all of them to then get off the starting block equally. So I don't know if you've also seen the analogy of the hurdles race. And so it's got men and women, and they're, it's a 100-meter hurdle, and you can see the finish line. And the gentleman is just, in his sportswear, and he's just running towards the line. And the lady's running, but she has the baby on her back. Then she jumps over an ironing board. Then she jumps over a cooking pot. Then she jumps over, nappies. Then she jumps. There is no way she's going to get to the finish line at the same time. And so for me, it's not, I have to say this, it's not a gender war.
That's very important.
That is why I use the analogy of the plane. It's about moving forward and moving forward with everyone on board. And I dare say that when you give people opportunities, it doesn't mean we all take the opportunities.
True.
But wrong to deny people. And that's what we are saying when we advocate for equity. It's about creating that level playing field to allow everybody, men and women, make decisions for themselves.
Very, very true. And to that, I would then want to know, our male future leaders, where do they feature in the conversation? Because if we then go to the hashtag of this year, which is breaking the bias, or rather breaking the gender bias. No, it says breaking the bias, but I would add breaking the gender bias. Gender is male and female. So where do our future male leaders fall in the conversation?
So I think in the future, there'll be both men and women leaders. So I don't
Yes.
ascribe to future male leaders, future leaders.
Future leaders.
Now, to the men who will be part of that leadership cohort,
yes.
I think for them it means that they've got to be open to competition and collaboration because the landscape is going to change,
Yes.
right? And you both sides have to work together for the same ideal. So it's about the men learning to work with women and women learning to work with men as well and making sure that working together is pushing us forward. I think the other thing for both men and women really to recognize is leadership is a call to serve. And to serve, one must first listen, must understand, must take the time to figure out what really is going on here for themselves. And so the reason I say this is because I encourage people to read and read widely. I hear a lot of people say to me, I don't like this women thing. I don't like this women thing. I say, what is the woman thing? What is the definition of feminism? Open a dictionary. And often when I get people to open their own dictionaries and read it, but that's not what's... Yeah, but the dictionary is there. It's been there for hundreds of years. So it's telling both the men and the women to please read widely. Get yourself to a point where you have your own views. And those views have come through your own self-education, self-awareness. And by all means, strive to create a better future than what you have come to meet. I think that's a call for both men and women. You get into positions of authority. Please think about those coming behind you. That is the legacy that you live.
That is actually a really good mandate because it's simple for everybody to be able to put on their dashboard, put on their mirror, and just remember, the mandate is to strive to create a better future than the one you have met. And that goes into every facet of life. So I then want to know, where does the family come into all of this?
The family is the first, it's the first institution.
Yeah, I like to say the first government.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It very, very much is. And I dare say it's one of the most important. Because we spend quite a bit of our formative years in that small family unit. And so it's critical that whatever it is that we would like to see change in the society starts from the family. Having said that, I like to be quite inclusive. And it's important to note that not everybody is fortunate to have the definition of a family that we see it as.
True.
Not everybody's fortunate to have a mother and a father, or to have siblings, or indeed to even have a roof over their heads. And so it's important that when we have these conversations, we are not, people don't feel excluded, because if they feel excluded, then they tune out very quickly. I think what is important is that at our base level, which is the foundation, as children come into the world, it's important that we mirror for them what we would like them to do as adults. They say children learn more by example than by listening or being talked to. And so once we recognize that, then it's important to ensure that the values we strive for, equity, fairness, there's so many other things, honesty, kindness, they have to start from that family unit. And if you are fortunate to be in a family unit or to be part of a family unit that is, full and complete in the way that we see family units are with, parents and children, it's even more important that, one, the children understand that it's a privilege because not everybody has that, but that as they leave that privilege, it comes with responsibility, a responsibility for them to create a world that is better.
What does the male role model in that family setting and the female role model, what do they individually need to do to be able to amplify that journey?
I think that there has to be a consciousness, and I'm speaking now specifically towards the conversation today about gender. There has to be the consciousness that there are inequalities, and a consciousness that there are biases that are inherent. And so within that family setting, we have to start to break the biases. And I'll give you a couple of examples of them. There's a bias around young girls in homes being expected to be the ones to cook and to clean. And by all means, there's nothing wrong with learning to cook and clean, but it's a survival skill. It's a skill that both young boys and young girls need to learn.
Yes.
The number of young gentlemen that leave school in sort of secondary school and going to university and their rooms are a tip. They cannot wash, they cannot clean. They're being forced to rely on young girls just because they want to eat. I mean, that in itself is not right? So there has to be that awareness of the bias and the problems that we create by reinforcing those stereotypes and having the parents' role model for the children, the fact that these things are things that we all need to learn, we all need to do. I think the other thing, stereotypes, we can be quite negative in our connotation and conversation, whether it's negativity around men or negativity around women, and the children
they
take
absorb
it all
that,
in. And so when they get much older, it's much more difficult. And you hear people saying, but in my home, I didn't tell the children this. But the kids saw it. They saw the interaction between both of you. They saw you putting one person down. They saw the other person snidely making comments around the other person. They saw lots of generalizations. And it's not to say you cannot be human and you cannot be yourself at home. But it's for the role models to recognize that you have a gift. These children are a gift. But they're not yours alone. Therefore, they're yours to raise and then to throw out into the world. And so when you recognize that, your actions hopefully should be quite intentional in trying to ensure that you're raising young men and women that go into the world as ambassadors of your family and of the amazing things that your family unit has taught them.
And for me, that is my breaking the bias. Because, like you've rightly said, there are lots of biases and stereotypes within the family unit. And not just the conventional family unit, but even within, to talk about, children in slums, for example, who don't have traditional mummy and daddy. There's always a mama there who acts as the mother figure. There's always a baba there who acts as the father figure. So this is for all of them. We have to really start breaking the bias from the home. And that then takes me to all of these campaigns that we have that say breaking the bias.
That's an assignment. And I'm sort of, is that the one thing? I think the one thing I always say to people is, bias is not necessarily a negative thing. A bias is your brain's way of making a quick decision. So the reason why we have biases is that the brain has made associations. And so it's a shortcut to make a decision. So you see somebody dressed in a particular way, your brain tells you, be afraid. And your shackles come up. And so the first thing I say to people is recognize that we all have biases. All of us. Men, women, and there are various types of biases, right? So once you recognize it, it's now for you to be intentional around what are the biases that I need to break. And the message that I would give both men and women, because I think we're both equally guilty of biases. Even women, we are biased against ourselves. you get women who get into an interview situation and they put two candidates and they tell both of them, okay, at the last stage, vote for each other. Often the woman will vote for the man and the man will vote for himself. And when you ask the woman why, she's like, well, first of all, I just wanted to show that I'm not really that competitive, And I thought that they will still give me if they want to give me. But if you don't believe in yourself, how is anybody else going to believe in you? So there are these biases that we all hold. And so I can't say break one over the other. What I can say is recognize that you have a bias.
And then be mindful.
And
intentional.
And then little by little, overcome them.
Yeah. Wow. I really wish we could go on forever and ever and ever, because you've got such a breadth of knowledge. And I'm so, so grateful that you were able to come today. We've come to the end.
Have we?
Very quickly.
Oh my God.
Very quickly. But we're going to do this again soon. I'm going to be knocking on your door multiple times. So please forgive me in advance.
No problem. No problem.
I really do hope that we've learned something today. And we've had a bit of a mindset shift that would hopefully help us towards this journey of gender parity. And if you please stay with us for a few more minutes whilst we take the tech segment and then we round up the show. Thank you so much.
Hello and welcome to Tech Talk on Today with John and Helen. My name is Emmanuel Atta. I'm a content manager. I'm here to bring you tidbits of digital marketing that can help you build and maintain a strong online presence for your business. Now, video marketing is the best type of marketing you can do for your business online. People are spending less time reading, so you need to create content in video. So yes, there are other forms of content creation online that can excel your business. Yes, there's copywriting, there's graphic design, there is photography. Yes, those are forms. Those are different types of content that can promote your business online. But the best among all those is videos. You need to create videos for your business. You have to create videos that are professionally done, not just see and be like, yes, they want to identify with your business. Now, what kind of video should you be creating? So first of all, you can create entertaining videos. Look, entertainment is taking over the world. So any information you want to pass, it has to be kind of wrapped up in entertainment, and that is kind of what we catch people's attention when they are on social media, maybe on TikTok, maybe on YouTube, maybe on Facebook. Videos are one of the things that make people stop scrolling to try to check what that video is all about. Second kind of video you can create is educative videos. So these kind of videos are videos that kind of like educate your audience about your product or your services, maybe how to use it, what the product is all about, where, to get it from. Those are like educative videos. Just try to teach people about stuff that are maybe might not necessarily be your product or your services, but are related to your product or services. You can also create informative videos. So just generally giving the public information about what you do. It can be personal presentation videos where you just talk to the camera. It could be product review video, service review video, where you just give people general information about what you are doing, the kind of business you do, the kind of services you render. But definitely when a lot of people are posting graphic designs, a lot of people keep posting cool pictures of products, which is good, right? If you're doing good product photography for your business, it's fine. But video is what is capable of moving the needle when it comes to making sales on the internet as far as this era is concerned, because all social media platforms are currently pushing more video content to the audience than pictures, than graphics, right? So create videos, because videos is one of the things that can make someone stop. A lot of people, you need to see how people scroll social media. People scroll social media with speed, but a video can make someone stop and then just look at their phone and say, oh, this could make sense for me. And from there, a sale could happen. So, that's my tip for today. And my name is Emmanuel Atta, and that's all for today on Tech Talk on Today with John and Ellen. See you same time next week. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to Space and Style, a property show designed to connect various stakeholders across the property value chain. We can also provide realistic solutions and deepen your knowledge about the interesting world of real estate. We shall showcase architectural design, interior design trends, lifestyle and real-time property news updates, and the right way to navigate through property development and investment. Join me every week on this channel as I take you through an exciting journey in the world of real estate.
Space and Style, 6:30 p.m. on Saturdays and 5:30 p.m. on Wednesdays.
For me, I wanted to change that culture. I didn't believe that until you see a white man or you see a foreigner in the kitchen before you can believe that, good food is going to come out of that kitchen.
You can leverage on each other's spaces and, sell. We believe in Nigeria, right? We believe that Nigeria can get better. We, the youth, are the ones that can make it better.
And my products are proudly made in Nigeria.
Made in Nigeria, showing every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. and repeats on Saturday at 8:30 a.m.
Okay, so we cannot really overemphasize the fact that the family is the first institution and the first government according to Pharaoh. And the most important according to our last guest. That's why I say we cannot overemphasize, because these are facts that we know, but we are being reminded today. And so the man-woman thing is not a war, it's not a battle, it's a collaboration.
Yes.
And I'm glad.
Lexicon, like they say, of public speaking. Okay. The new word is calmfidence.
Huh?
Okay.
Calmfidence.
Calm. Keep your cool. Stay unnervous. Okay, so that is the confidence. So my nugget in full is this: confidence grows with practice. Don't take it for granted. So the message is that it's like learning to ride a bicycle. You do it over and over and over until you become a master. Okay, so if you want to achieve confidence in public speaking, you have to take up any opportunity that comes your way. Morning devotion, raising up your hand in class, during the family meeting or dinners. Yeah? So Farah, that was for you actually, Farah. Did that tickle you?
Everything is for Farah.
Did that tickle you, Farah?
Thank you so much for my sweets, by the way. I love them.
Shh. She's jealous.
All right, we have a lot of fun on this show, and we hope that we're able to translate and transmit that to you. It's a family show, and we are very committed and determined that we will change the narrative as far as it relates or concerns the family. Because whatsoever it is that's happening out there that we're not happy about started from the family or starts
We're
from
our first government, so we need to be the change we want to see.
I like that, yes.
We can't change from within, then we can't change for the outside.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So
you were talking about rating a while ago, Maybe the viewers must be, be invited to participate in this show one way or another.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Can work on that.
And they can watch on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So if you have areas that you'd like for us to, some issues in the family that you would want for us to project or talk about on this show, please feel free to send in those comments, all right, and those topics.
So that will be it for this week. We'll say our goodbyes now.
Okay.
From
so
me, see you next week.
And from me, see you next week, Farah Shonuga.
Okay. And so look out for the toxic woman and mother out there, and maybe the man too. And let's join hands together and help the family grow. Until next week, I'm Helen Oma Odeleye. See you again, same time. Bye for now, and have a beautiful weekend.